The movie begins with a girl named Danwi, who is walking in the rain on her way to school. When she reaches school, she hopes that the class will end soon because she doesn't like studying. She keeps looking at the clock, waiting for the class to finish. The teacher calls on her to solve a question, but she is unable to answer. The teacher tells her that exams are near, and if she continues this way, she will fail. This makes Danwi upset, and as soon as class ends, she goes home. At home, she watches her favorite comedy show on her phone, ignoring her mother's scolding. Her mother reminds her that the exam is only 2 days away, but Danwi doesn't pay attention. She goes out with a friend to have fun, and they enjoy themselves until they return home tired. The next day, Danwi prepares herself for the exam and her mother packs some food in her bag, wishing her good luck. On the way to school, Danwi is nervous about the exam, and in her anxiety she forgets her umbrella on the bus. When she reaches school, she sees parents outside, cheering and wishing their children good luck. This makes Danwi even more anxious and she decides not to take the exam. She runs away from school and heads to the playground, avoiding the test. The ground is full of water due to the rain, and Danwi stands near a deep puddle, silently praying to be freed from her boring life. Suddenly, the scene shifts to the year 1500, where people are gathered in the royal palace of Josian. They are performing a prayer to bring rain, standing around a large clay pot. The king of Josian is with them, hoping for rain for their country. After this, we return to Danwi, who is still standing by the puddle in the present time. After a moment of thought, she jumps into the water. At the same time, a girl emerges from the clay pot in the past, shocking everyone around her. Danwi is confused and wonders if this is some kind of film shoot. She asks people what is happening, and one of the king's men asks who she is. Danwi explains that she is a student who skipped her exam, but the king and his people mistake her for an enemy and aim their swords at her. Danwi gets scared after seeing this. Then the old man who was leading the prayer appears. He tells everyone that a goddess sent from the sky has returned. And now, because of her, it will rain in their country. Danwi, feeling nervous, agrees with the old man's words, because she sees no other way to escape. Now, everyone starts believing that Danwi is truly a special person who can bring rain. So they all bow in front of her. Even the king, though unwilling, bows his head. At that moment, Danwi finds a chance and runs away. She hides in a room. But even there she feels unsafe. So she puts on some teacher's clothes kept there. Then she joins those teachers. These teachers are going to the king's palace. Friends, if you are watching this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. The king had called everyone to think of a new way to bring rain. The king tells them that now they must use maths and science to find out why it is not raining. Maybe they are not understanding time. Or maybe there is another problem. Danwi uses this chance to show her real self, and tells the king that she is very smart in maths. Danwi says she can solve all their problems. Hearing this, the king gives her a question to solve. Danwi solves it quickly. The king is shocked, because even great teachers of that time could not solve it. But Danwi solved it in just a few minutes. We learn here that the question the king gave was so easy that even small school kids in Danwi's time could solve it easily. Seeing this, the king becomes happy and makes Danwi the teacher of the kingdom. He even starts learning from her. The king promises that if Danwi helps bring rain, they will send her back to her time safely. Now, Danwi is given a house near the palace. A guard is also given to protect her. She is dressed like other teachers of the kingdom, so that she can teach the king easily. Then comes the day when Danwi starts teaching the king. On the first day, she teaches him the times tables. While teaching the tables, Danwi feels like a great teacher. Because the king doesn't even know the table of 2. She starts teaching him easily. Even the other teachers start learning from Danwi. During this time, Danwi explains some science facts, and tells about parts of the human body. Everyone is surprised to learn these things. And Danwi starts getting a lot of respect. One day, when Danwi is teaching the king, the queen enters. She is the wife of the king. Danwi is shocked to see her, because the queen's face looks just like her friend Esihan. Danwi can't believe how this is possible. Over time, Danwi starts liking the king. She also tells him about love. Danwi says that when someone truly loves another person, the heart beats faster, and a person can feel their heartbeat clearly. She tells the king that if this ever happens to him, he should think about whether it is love. Friends, has this ever happened to you? If yes, then tell us in the comments below. The king starts taking Danwi's words seriously. Danwi feels safe with him. After this, we see that the king and Danwi start solving difficult questions together. At that moment the king gives some oranges to Danwi. She eats them all at once. The king becomes surprised after seeing this and starts scolding her. Because in their country, oranges were considered very valuable, and they were kept with great care. But Danwi ate them quickly. So the king gets angry with her. He takes her to a football field. There, he keeps kicking the ball and asks Danwi to bring it back again and again. Danwi feels very sad seeing this. She becomes upset with the king. She says, why is he treating her so badly just because of a few oranges? But the king doesn't reply to her. After some time they both get tired and lie down in the field. At that moment the king's hand touches Danwi's chest. Danwi feels a little uncomfortable. Then she takes out an orange from her pocket and gives it to the king. She had secretly kept it. That night the king makes a plan to take Danwi outside the palace. He also arranges a car to take her. When the king is getting dressed he starts feeling very nervous, because his heart is beating fast, and he feels that maybe he is falling in love with Danwi. Because of this he cancels the plan to go out. Meanwhile Danwi is waiting for him outside. The next morning, we see the queen's father, who is also the prime minister of the kingdom. He tells his daughter that he has added medicine to the king's food, so that the queen can get close to him. Because the king and queen hardly spent time together. And since Danwi came, the king didn't even want to see the queen. That is why the prime minister made this plan. On the other side the food was ready for the king. But Danwi was also there. The king gives all the food to Danwi. He also says sorry for not coming last night. On the other side we see the queen coming into the palace thinking the king is unconscious. Danwi hides after seeing her. The queen tries to help the king. But instead of the king, Danwi starts losing control. Because she had eaten the food with medicine. Now Danwi's condition becomes worse. The queen also realizes that Danwi ate the food. That's why she leaves. Danwi starts acting strangely. She tells the king what she feels in her heart, and says that she likes him a lot. Then she hugs him and sleeps on the same bed. When she wakes up, she sees that she is still with the king. The king says he will take her back to her home. On the way he tells her to stay with him forever. The king says he always wants to see Danwi with him and promises to give her many things. But Danwi replies that she is only a guest for a few days and will have to return to her home. A man in disguise listens to their conversation. That man actually works for the prime minister. He goes and informs the prime minister about everything and says that Danwi and the king have become very close, which is not acceptable because no ordinary girl should be this close to the king. The next morning, on the prime minister's orders, Danwi is arrested and brought before the king. The prime minister is also present and accuses Danwi of stealing a device used to measure rain, pointing toward a flower pot. But in reality he only wants to push Danwi away from the king, so he is making a false accusation. He demands that Danwi be sent out of the kingdom immediately, saying she could become a threat to their people and that the king must stay away from her. The king defends her by saying that she is a wise girl, and he spends time with her to learn good things and help his people. Hearing this, the prime minister suggests that if Danwi is really so smart, she must prove it by building a water-powered clock since they don't know how to tell time. Everyone takes this seriously, and the king agrees that Danwi will not be allowed into the palace again until she completes the clock. Danwi becomes very sad because she cannot meet the king. She asks her guard Park to help her sneak into the palace. Park says that as long as he followed the king's orders, he was her helper, but now he cannot help her. Still, Danwi convinces him. Together, they work hard day and night and finally complete the water-powered clock. Then it starts raining in the kingdom. The king runs through the rain to meet Danwi because he missed her a lot. He remembers the promise that Danwi would leave when it rained, so he becomes afraid she might go now. He hugs her and tells her that he loves her. Danwi gets emotional and says she has built the clock and now wants to go back home. She walks toward a water hole to return to her world, but the king holds her hand and stops her. He hugs her tightly. The rain stops and it seems like Danwi will not go anywhere now. Just then one of the prime minister's men arrives. The king fears they might harm Danwi, so he quickly sends her away with Park to a safe place. Later, it is revealed that Park was secretly working with the prime minister and could have hurt Danwi, but he doesn't. Instead, he protects her. As the prime minister's men arrive, Park helps Danwi escape on a horse and fights many people to save her. On the other side, the queen also finds out the truth, so she runs into the forest to save Danwi because she realizes that the king truly loves Danwi. She reaches the forest and goes to Park, asking him angrily why he hid the things between the king and Danwi from her, but Park stays silent. The king then takes the queen far away from there. Meanwhile, the king finally meets Danwi. They sit alone and talk for a while. Danwi tells the king that she is not good at math and is actually afraid of numbers. The king is surprised to hear this and thinks that Danwi is very innocent. Then Danwi says to the king, "I love you." The king also loves Danwi, so they kiss each other. The next morning, the king brings Danwi to the palace. He tells everyone that Danwi has made the water clock, so her punishment is now over. But people still feel worried because they don't want Danwi to be close to the king. Danwi now starts treating the queen kindly. She shares her food with the queen. The queen now understands that Danwi has a pure heart and does not want to harm anyone. The queen also realizes that the king truly loves Danwi. So, she gives Danwi to the king and tells him to stay with her. The prime minister becomes angry and tries to talk to the queen, but she doesn't listen to him. She herself starts preparing Danwi so she can go into the king's room. Danwi becomes confused and runs away. But the king arrives and takes her to his room, then puts her to sleep on the bed and hugs her. Danwi is still confused. The king tells her that nothing will happen. They will just stay together as good friends. Danwi feels relaxed and sleeps peacefully. After that, the king tells Danwi that he wants to create a new language for his country and has been working on it for many days. He asks Danwi for help and she quickly agrees. They both work together and make a new language. Then the king takes Danwi to his secret room. He had hidden many secret things there. Some of them were related to the new language. The king leaves Danwi in the room and goes outside. Suddenly, a man comes and attacks Danwi with a sword. She falls unconscious. That man sets fire to the room to finish her and leaves. The king also finds out about the fire and that Danwi was inside. He quickly rushes there and somehow saves her. We see that Danwi is perfectly fine. The sword had hit her bag, which was full of math books. The next morning, the king punishes all the criminals who were working for the prime minister and who had planned to harm Danwi. All the criminals were punished. Now everything in the kingdom was completely fine. Everything was finally completed. The real heir of the kingdom was also revealed. The water clock was also made. And a new language for the kingdom was also ready. So Danwi had finished her work. Now she wanted to go back to her home. Because she missed her mother a lot. And she also missed her friends very much. She thought that now she should return to her real life. Danwi told everything to the king. The king tried hard to stop her. But he could not stop her. Danwi also wanted to stay in her heart. But she missed her mother too much. After some time, Danwi gave some papers to the king. On those papers, the language was written which had burned earlier. After that, the king took her to another place. There was a very big bridge. There Danwi kissed the king goodbye, and she returned to her real world. When she came back, it was the same place where she was sitting in the playground. Before, she didn't want to submit the papers. But this time she submitted the papers. And then she went back to her home. But she did not pass her test. So she had to leave the school. A few days later, she started working in a shop. One day she was working in the shop. Suddenly, a TV started making a loud sound. It showed a singer who looked like Bodyguard Park. Danwi understood that Park had come back in this life as a singer. That day, after her work ended, she left for home. On the way, it started raining very heavily. Danwi started thinking about the king. Just then a boy came there. He was holding an umbrella. Danwi was shocked to see the boy, because his face looked just like the king. The boy said that she had left the umbrella on the bus. Then he also told her that he had been watching her for many days, and that he liked her. Danwi was very surprised to hear this. And with this, the movie ends. Friends, if you liked this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. See you in the next video.